What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D at the track. Where's that again? Doing it again. How y'all doing? It's early day, but I want to make another quick video about a few things I'm hearing online. I heard a sister. I guess she was talking about how Black Americans, if there was a race war to pop up, Black Americans would be the only one to fight, that the Africans and Caribbeans wouldn't fight. And a lot of the Africans and the Caribbeans who were on that page, well, some of them agree with her, but then a lot of them on that page are making digs at the brothers and sisters here in this country. Now, let me say this, man. Let me say this now. All right. I say that not all what you call foreign blacks or foreign melanated people are coons, but when it comes to our history and our culture and identifying how we want to be identified, I think that's where they show the lack of respect, man. And then try to claim our history and our culture. Let me say this now, all right? Disrespect, let me say this. I'm hearing stuff like, and I said this in other videos, Caribbeans, Latinos, and Africans created jazz. R&B was created by Caribbeans. Blues was created by Africans. Soul comes from Africans. Hip-hop comes from Caribbeans, Africans, and Latinos. I mean, just the absurdity, man. All that was created by Aboriginal Black Americans. Then these people try to talk about how Malcolm X was Caribbean. His mother was a mixed black Ghanaian woman. Guyana woman. Guyana, I think she's a mixed black Guyana woman. Correct. And his father was an Aboriginal Black American. His culture he was raised in was Aboriginal Black American culture. But yet they're trying to claim him and say he's Caribbean. And some may try to say he's Latino, man. This is trying to latch onto something that the other individuals had nothing to do with, man. They really don't. And you hear this, man, this is totally disrespectful, but it also, you hear like Umar Johnson talking about American Africans. We're not Africans. And then when people try to tell the individuals that we are the Aboriginal blacks of here, they try to tell us Mongoloid people were here first. I explained in my other videos who and what a Mongoloid is, where did that terminology originated from. You see, it's really tiresome because I don't think a lot of these Negroes want to do no real research. So they want to continue on and babble and go along with what white daddy and mommy taught them. So they've been highly indoctrinated. I said there's other videos, but I really feel that brothers and sisters who have the knowledge, ones who are willing to listen, let them listen. Others, just let them be, man. Let them be on their own. They're not going to try to grow. They're going to continue to be ignorant and take pride in being ignorant. I can remember I had one of them ex-girlfriends of mine talking about, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. Okay, whatever. The heifer never wanted to change, man. I'm just letting you know that any individuals who are not willing to grow, just stay away from them, man. Just move away. I want a lot of the foreign blacks to understand and study our real history, study our history. But you cannot take lead on our history. You cannot sit there and tell us who the hell we are. That is being totally disrespectful. If we're telling you that we do not identify as no Africans, you respect that. But you constantly hear people say, well, you are African, take your DNA. Really, dude? I've went over and over, video after video, talked about the various different blacks that were already here. How the blacks, and I use the term black, some people don't like the term black, but who sailed around the damn planet, who migrated and planted their seed in different forms of their civilizations globally. And you still have people talking about Mongoloids are here first, pale Mongoloids, let me just say that. And then Black Americans claim to be Native American. Ain't nobody claim to be no damn Native American. That's the messed up head Negroes who saying that. They're saying that they're American Indian or Aboriginal blacks. They're not saying they're Native American. But yet, it seems like you can't tell these Negroes nothing because they went to these schools, and heavily indoctrinated, like I said, and brainwashed. Let me go on and say this. You get these Negroes who come on YouTube online Well, I've got my PhD from some Ivy League school, okay, in African American studies. And a lot of them aren't of Aboriginal black lineage, all right? Not knowing that those universities were stolen, I said this over and over again, from Aboriginal blacks. They're land that was stolen from Aboriginal blacks. And they used prisoners of war, black people as slaves, to build them damn universities. And yet you bragging about that you have a PhD in African American studies. Well, go to hell. See, it's that mindset, is that silly slave mindset that want to say that our history just started 400 or 500 years ago on a plantation. That's unacceptable. That is totally unacceptable, and it's ignorant, and we got to basically break away from them type of Negroes. We cannot continue to listen to individuals who are going to continue to tell you a narrative where you didn't have the intellectual capabilities, the navigational skills to sail around the world, that in order for you to get over here, you needed the white man's help and put you on the bottom of the ship. When you say that you're Aboriginal or American Indian, you say you are native or indigenous to this land. You are the original of this land. When you keep saying you're descendant of slaves, you saying your ancestors came from somewhere else, that they're foreigners and were brought here. You Negroes got to stop doing that, because that information is not correct. And a lot of that slave narratives that you're hearing is very incorrect. I hear a lot of people saying this mess, man. These fools have done a lot and said a lot to basically explain away the true Aboriginal black population here. There have been plenty of people who have written about people who are already here, people settling over here, and who the original people over here were. There's no excuse, and I say this over and over again, there's no excuse not knowing this. There's no excuse, but many do not want to know this unless some white person tell them. And then, like I said in other videos, there's a sick mindset of many of our people who want to continue to be accepted by racist white liberals. You want to be next to them, you want to hang around them, you want to lay next to them. And this is really sick, man. But this is the mindset of so many or some of our people. Pan-Africanism is not going to solve our problems, all right? Because we're not African. And all this diaspora stuff. What diaspora? What diaspora? I'm going to say this now, man. A lot of you foreign blacks, and this doesn't apply to all, you can't sit there and tell us who the hell we are and what we call ourselves, man. And then sit there and tell us we don't know what we're talking about, where we have been the most researched and well-versed blacks, so-called blacks, that dealing with history and culture. Now you're going to sit there and tell us when we're putting in the work instead of our true history, you have a problem with that. And then you want to sit there and try to just say that we're African, we're self-hating. No, we're not self-hating. I think that many of you are afraid, many of them are afraid that once so-called black Americans really truly identify who and what we really are, then you won't be, you realize that you can't really give credit, everything that we do, we can't just give credit to so-called Africa. And you would not be leeching off our culture, claiming that like hip-hop was created by Latinos and Caribbeans, which it wasn't. But we got to understand is that we have allowed this here. We have allowed foreigners, even foreigners with melanated skin who look more closely like us to exploit us just like whites and non-black Asians have done. Just because they have a similar skin tone to you, closer hair texture to you, doesn't mean they are your brothers and sisters. And what bothers me, though, now I said this in other videos, you get people like Dr. Mahad, who obviously seen the black people in Asian America, and then sit there and make dumbass comments, man, claiming that, well, just because they're black people in America, that don't mean they're us. No, we are the Aboriginal blacks of America. We're not African. And that's one of the main points I always make in a lot of my videos, that we need to take pride in the land that we built, the land that we're Aboriginal to, and understand this is our land, this is our homeland. Do not allow foreigners to make us foreign, like Umar Johnson insulting us, man, with this American African stuff. He is very ignorant, extremely ignorant, and disrespectful, man. He claims to be part Cuban. So what the hell he talking for? But this is what happens, man. I'm gonna say this now, I'm gonna say this again. No one should be taking the lead on how we self-identify and our history and our culture but us. No one. We're the only ones that can speak for ourselves and speak on our true history. No one else can. And when you hear others be disrespectful and tell us that we're, quote, African, when we're not, that lets you know that deep down inside, they have a deep-seated hatred and animosity towards us. When you're trying to tell us who we are and being disrespectful. When we tell you that, you should respect that. And if you want to, fellow melanated brother, black brothers, pound, that's fine. But when you sit there and tell us that we, quote, African, and we're telling you that we're not, and you being disrespectful and doing that mess, man, that lets me know that you're not a friend, you're a foe. And you got to understand, I don't think a lot of these individuals, like I said earlier, really know our true history. They're going by they're giving a sanitized version of our history that was basically packaged by racist whites and others, along with the Boule Negro. All right, the Boule Negro has been a big part of our problem. I did a video on that. The Boule Negro continue to run that garbage, claim that you African. They want to go run the African, go to, quote, Goree Island. They sit there and say that we're some slaves from Africa. That's what the Boule Negro is all about, man. We have a deep, long history. They go back thousands of years here in America. And it did not originate on the bottom of a cargo ship. This information is really, I say this all the time, it's literally in your face. But it's up to you if you want to go seek it and learn it and research it. And many of our people do not want to do that because they're going to get white mommy and daddy upset, or they're going to have to realize that everything they've been taught in these little goofy-ass schools, these universities, these institutions, it's been wrong, and many of their degrees are a joke. So I'm letting you know, brothers and sisters, that learn and study your true history. Do not allow others to dictate to you who you are and what you're now starting to identify yourself. Do not allow them to do that. Many of us, like I said, many of us know this information. And that's why I give you sources, and I want you to go read that stuff. But there's so many of our people, man, who, like I said, who do a lot of African worship, right? There are some similarities, but there's differences. But I want brothers and sisters to understand that we are Aboriginal to this land. This is our land. There was constantly movement and selling using ships by brothers and sisters globally. But you have to understand that we are Aboriginal to America. You don't need to go to Africa to find your ancestors. Your ancestors were here for thousands of years. Thousands of years. But see, you've been, like I said, heavily indoctrinated, programmed to think that you are a foreigner in your own damn land. And now you're having foreigners dictating who you are, like the Spaniard, Angel Ramirez Jordan, telling you who you are. I am Elihu, telling you who you are. Lovely T, telling you who you are. Get mad at Waka Flocka when he actually was telling the damn truth. Stay the hell out of our business, man. If you want to support us, then you need to support us during our journey of knowing who we really are, which I know, but so many of our other people. if you want to support us and be fellow, quote, brothers and sisters in arms. But you're showing that you're not. You're showing that you're an opportunist because you realize that once we identify our true orders, there's the stuff that you've been leeching off of us is going to stop. And I'm not saying this to all foreign black people, melanated people, but I'm going to say this now. It's over for you leeching. That's done. You need to start respecting the people and stop throwing shade. You coming to our land. How dare you come to my land, our land, and sit there and tell us who we are, what we are, and say that we're lazy and we contribute nothing. That just tells me that a very ignorant idiot who have not studied nothing. You come over these mindset from these countries where you have this color caste system, where the darker skinned people at the bottom, lighter skinned people at the top, where we come from these little Latino countries where these white Latinos run everything, but yet you play both sides. One minute you black, next minute you Latino. Technically you are, quote, a black Latino, but that's not both. That's what you are. But fine, you want to play, say one thing to black people, so Aboriginal black Americans, and then the next minute you go around, with little white Latinos and say another thing behind our back, man, which tells me that a lot of you can't be trusted. This is why so-called a lot of Aboriginal black Americans have issues with certain Afro-Latinos, Caribbeans, and Africans, man. This is why a lot of them have this issue, because a lot of them view you or see you as just a darker, racist, white bigot. Or just a darker, racist bigot with a tan. That's what a lot of them see you like that. So I'm being blunt and honest with this. I'm telling you the truth. You don't come into my land, my ancestors built, and then you'll sit there and say my people lazy. It's insulting. Really is. It's highly insulting. But I blame this a lot on us, man, for not roping this up years ago. And that's why I have a problem with Pan-Africanism, man. It doesn't work. All right? Certain individuals you can work with, but Pan-Africanism just, hey, we all black, that ain't work, man. That just doesn't work. All right? All right, brothers and sisters, peace and love. I just want to say that, man. I want brothers and sisters to wake up and study your true history. Know your Aboriginal. Do not allow foreigners to tell you that you're African when you're not. You are Aboriginal to this land. You're not a foreigner to this land. Your ancestors weren't brought over here by boat. They were already here, and they built the mounds and the great pyramidal structures here in the Americas. This is your history. This is your culture. Reclaim it. Do not allow other people who may look closely like you to tell you that you come from somewhere else. Peace and love.